On this ISF, because it's an issue of some concern. I mean, the BCC gets 17% of that ISF, but oftentimes the BCC is characterized.
I'm not so sure that's the right number. It's closer to 10.
Well, I thought it was 17.
No,
We get 17%? I don't think so.
it changes.
I mean, it changes, yes.
Yeah,
every
whatever
year when you have the various...
Whatever the percentage is, it certainly is not 85%.
Right.
You know,
It probably varies between 10 and 15%.
yeah. So
Yeah,
whatever the percentage is, we'll use the number 15%. That's the average. For the amount of confusion that is easily used or generated from that, is there not another way of listing, taking the BCC out of the ISF funds?
Sure. Just put it into general government.
And to somehow, but then you brought up other issues there too. But I think those issues can be somehow looked at and solved or resolved in some way.
Well, the two issues that came to mind when Commissioner Heck asked the question was, why is the BCC included in the ISF? And ISF meaning the internal service funds, and the board does provide internal service to all the other departments. I mean, your actions and your efforts touch all the other departments within the county.
It comes down to the way our government is structured here. You wouldn't include the BCC in Jackson County and the ISF because they're not administrative, but you would include Danny Jordan,
Right.
and all of his staffing and elements in there, and I would very easily say that their percentage over there under an administrative form of government as opposed to a quasi-judicial, administrative, and policy, we aren't all in admin, but most of it. That's why we're in.
Some of your actions don't get billed to BCC admin, they get billed to general government because
It's considered a effort of the county as a whole and not specifically to the different departments. So the theory behind why BCC is part of ISF is, as we discussed, and really why you want to be part of the survey question too. Tie that back because you really do interact with all the departments. So two things out of that. First, the funding for the board then is allocated to all the departments by virtue of the internal service fund rate, which means that you are charging to Public Works, to the non-general fund departments, public health, community corrections, airports. So all those cost centers, if you were part of the general fund, then you would not be getting any support from Public Works, adult correction, building safety, airports. So those, the full cost of the board would then be borne by the general fund, which leads to this next issue. If the general fund bore the full cost of the board, all else being equal, then we would have less money that we can transfer to public safety. So then you're getting into a situation where instead of being a percent of the ISF charge, the board would become a dollar for dollar reduction to public safety.
Another wonderful illustration of how a commonsensical idea goes belly up if you start looking at how you're going to apply it.
There's a reason why it's ISF.
Yeah.
It's not.
Okay. Forget I ever brought it up. Forget it.
It's a good question, and it should be asked, and it should be looked at every so often, just like everything we do, really.
Well, it's a philosophical question whether or not those departments should have the stake in the administration, and if it's an admin fee, ISF, you call it whatever, they should be paying for the full cost of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We are a portion of it.
That is the easiest way to accomplish that task.
It is. And it's the way that we have designed our governmental business model.
It's the fairest way. Easiest is just to write a check out of general fund and not have to appropriate it to every department. But it's the fairest way, it's the most accurate, and it's the most beneficial to the criminal justice system because there is more money available for them.
Well, it's also the easiest trackable aspect too. I mean, you know,
everybody's.
You don't have to go all these lines and permutations.
And not to put too fine a point on it, but think about how much time you spent on parks. Yeah. Fairgrounds. Fairgrounds. So, how much time you've spent with the all the other, every department that you are liaison to, and then think about, okay, then you're not going to charge them at all for all the time you spent with their boards, their commissions, it's a fair way to allocate.
Sorry, I brought it up.
No,
it's a real question that we kind of never really addressed head on. We talk about it all. Other counties do it, blah, blah, blah. This is standard procedure. Those are actually irrelevant to the real point, which is the goal of this county is to provide as much general fund revenue to the criminal justice system as possible. So every opportunity that we can fairly allocate internal rates and administrative costs evenly, we're going to do.
Fairly, justifiably, defensively,
All of those.
All of those good words.